2019 may seem like it's a long way off, but movie studios are already filling up their slates with big budget, high-octane adventures that theatergoers are not going to want to miss. While some may say it's a bit early for people to be setting their calendar for midnight release dates, we say that you can never plan too much ahead. You might even get some sweet merch.
Star Wars fans brave the cold, long lines and traffic. The first 1,000 people got an exclusive Rogue One poster.
So pop all your popcorn and clear space on the wall for all your sweet new posters. Here are all the movies that will blow you away in 2019.
The MCU's newest hero, Captain Marvel, has entered the fray literally swinging with a cosmic-flavored origin story that feels like a much-needed fresh approach to the classic Marvel Phase 1 formula. With a soundtrack packed full of vintage 90s earworms and a delightfully unself-conscious sense of humor, Captain Marvel pulls off a satisfying introduction to the hero who may be our Avengers Endgame trump card.
Let go of the past.
I don't remember my past.
The bulk of Captain Marvel's runtime is focused on Carol Danvers trying to figure out just who and what she is. She's been living among the alien Kree for years and has earned herself a position on an elite commando unit with only fleeting memories of her life before it. Carol's quest for answers to her past leads her to Earth in 1995, where she's forced to work alongside newly minted S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Nick Fury to uncover the truth. Toss some shape-shifting aliens called Skrulls and an intergalactic conspiracy into the mix, and you've got yourself a proper superheroic party. The movie keeps the memory loss tropes to a minimum. Carol never feels properly lost or floundering, just frustrated that she's up against a problem she can't use her powers to punch her way out of. Though she certainly gives the impression that if she could brute force her own memories into the proper order, she definitely would, which is absolutely delightful. But it is Carol's struggle against forces that want to delegitimize her, including her condescending, manipulative commander Yon-Rogg, that becomes the recurring theme of Captain Marvel. Everywhere she turns, Carol's facing down someone who doesn't think she's worthy of the power she has or doesn't think she belongs in the position she's in. And yet, again and again, Carol finds a way to prove them wrong and keep fighting regardless.
It's the first new film of 2019, and as usual, it's a horror thriller of sorts. Last year, that movie was Insidious: The Last Key, which, for a fourth film in a franchise, was actually not too bad. It's from the same director as Escape Room, believe it or not. This film follows a group of people who get involved in what they think is an innocent game in which $10,000 is a reward if they can escape this room. Escape rooms are a thing now. I mean, you can go to these places that have puzzles. There's Harry Potter themed ones, there's Star Wars themed ones. They're getting very big, and eventually a movie was bound to happen surrounding this concept. And this, of course, takes the idea of what's normally viewed as a fun event with friends and makes it our life or death scenario. I would say the first 30 to 40 minutes of the film were diverting enough. The characters, though, were very annoying. One of the characters actually says out loud, "Wow, I feel like I'm playing the world's funnest game with the world's meanest people." Because most everyone in the film, except for a couple characters, are total assholes. None of them seem like they want to be there, despite the $10,000 reward. Even before the game starts, there's this vibe in the room of anger, and it kind of makes the proceedings not fun, because there's no fun even before the bad shit starts to happen. You can't really enjoy watching these people get involved in these scenarios because they seem absolutely miserable before the life and death stuff happens. And that could perhaps be an attempt to endear us to these people because it makes us feel for them because we understand that their lives haven't gone very well. But it sort of sucked all of the fun that could have been had out of the earlier portion of the movie, but it was still watchable enough. Like the first room is based around heat, the next is based around cold. The third room is actually my favorite in the movie, and it was really entertaining and easily the best scene in the film. Deborah Ann Woll from Daredevil, who I love, gets a lot to do in this scene. It's this upside down room in which the ceiling looks like the ground, but the ground also looks like the ground. There's pool tables on the ceiling, lamps on the ceiling. And the director, Adam Robitel, does a lot of interesting things with the camera throughout this scene, twisting things around and playing with your perception. And I thought that was actually really clever.
You know how sometimes things line up.
With Us, writer-director Jordan Peele proves that he's no one-trick pony after the success of his Oscar-winning Get Out in 2017. Where Get Out is a racially conscious thriller, Us is less concerned about social commentary and more horror-focused, with an ample amount of comedy sprinkled throughout. The one aspect these two movies have in common, a credit to Peele's skill as a storyteller, is that both are difficult to pen to one particular genre. If there's anything to compare Us to, it would have to be The Twilight Zone, which Peele is fittingly adapting for CBS All Access. The only thing missing is Rod Serling's narration before the opening credits.
The Twilight Zone.
Us centers on the Wilsons, a seemingly normal middle-class family of four on vacation at their summer home near the California coast. But like any good Twilight Zone episode, there's a sense that not everything is as picturesque as the setting leads you to believe. Peele effectively creates this ominous tone through strong character development, especially with Lupita Nyong'o's Adelaide, the matriarch of the family who was haunted by a traumatic experience she had as a young girl while on a similar vacation with her mom and dad. Flashbacks to Adelaide's childhood provide valuable insight into why she seems so sad and often paranoid about the world around her. Nyong'o embodies the trauma of her character well as she teeters on the edge of sanity with every new frightening development. When Adelaide's worst fears come true and a terrifying doppelganger family shows up on their driveway wearing red jumpsuits and carrying large gold scissors, the story gets absolutely bonkers, but in a good way. And while there are plenty of scares, Peele balances the shock and awe with some hilarious moments courtesy of the dad, Winston Duke's Gabe. Gabe's happy-go-lucky personality is the perfect counterpoint to Adelaide's somber demeanor and keeps Us from taking itself too seriously. Since Us is a family affair, the kids get their time to shine as well.
Glass is directed by M. Night Shyamalan and stars James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, and Sarah Paulson, and is the 19-year-in-the-making sequel to Unbreakable and Split, which was a surprise Unbreakable sequel that blew a lot of people's minds, myself included. And in this film, we watch David Dunn use his supernatural abilities to track Kevin Wendell Crumb. Eventually, they end up in a psych ward with Mr. Glass himself, being interrogated by a specialist who believes they're under a delusion that they're all superheroes, and she's trying to convince them that it's all in their mind. To say that I was excited for this movie would be a massive understatement. In regards to anticipation, this is top 5, maybe even top 2. I was so ready for this film. Unbreakable, I consider a masterpiece, and Split, I loved. So naturally, being in this theater, I was just pumped. I was amped. I was ready. Glass has a lot to love. The first 20 minutes are absolutely amazing. They were so good, in fact, that I was worried. I didn't understand how we could possibly sustain such greatness for the entire runtime. I loved the introduction to David Dunn, seeing what his life was like. I loved so much about that opening, especially James McAvoy, who is amazing throughout the entire runtime once again, and he is worth the price of a ticket alone to see him reprise all of these roles that live inside of his mind. He is absolutely the best part of this film. Samuel L. Jackson, also, once he decides to become active in regards to the story, amazing. Really great performance. Reminded me of his work in Unbreakable. And Bruce Willis is trying. You're going to hear that a lot. Although his character felt left on the sideline.